Hey, what's going on everybody? Diptesh here. Welcome back to the channel. In this video, I'll share my final review of the Xiaomi 15's video shooting performance. And previous to this, I have shared videos regarding the photography performance of the Xiaomi 15 and also HDR video performance of the Xiaomi 15. I kept that separately because it's HDR. Can't mix it with this footage. So please check those videos out if you want to know more about the photos and the HDR performance of the Xiaomi 15. Some of you may ask why I make so many camera reviews for the same phone. Well, it's because camera performance is one of the top priorities on any phone in this price range. On top of this, smartphone cameras, especially in the automatic modes, are not predictable. Smartphones are not like DSLRs or mirrorless cameras where you just dial in your settings and you know what you're gonna get. With smartphones, the reliance is so much on machine learning and artificial intelligence that even a slight change in the angle of view can drastically change the output from the same phone itself. And that's why it is really important to test each and every scenario in detail to get a full idea on how a phone will perform, depending on different scenarios. And that's why I make these really in-depth videos. You cannot just show 2-3 photos and 2-3 videos and just conclude the video performance or a camera performance of a phone. So that's why I make these in-depth videos. So with that said, there's a lot to cover in this video. It is not as clear-cut as the photography performance that I covered earlier. There are nuances, so it's really important you watch this video till the end because there's a lot of information and a lot of stuff that I have to say about the video performance of the Xiaomi 15. But before all that, if you are new to the channel, please make sure you hit the subscribe button and turn on notifications because I make independent tech content and your support is much appreciated. With that said, let's get right into it. Alright, first I'm gonna start with the cons, and it is extremely important that you watch this section and you understand it. Okay, first I'm gonna start with an actual image processing bug. Yes, I actually spotted an image processing bug. But before I show you the bug, I must say I do not know if it is only my unit which is affected with this bug or others as well. On top of this bug only affects the main camera in a very specific lighting scenario. It does not affect the main camera in any other lighting scenarios. It only affects it in this specific lighting scenario, and it also does not affect the telephoto and the ultrawide in any lighting scenario. So check this out. Check out this scene. It's actually bright golden hour, and this is 4K 30 FPS with the main camera. And the video is very detailed. I have no complaints. But check what happens when I turn back and I point my camera towards the sun in the horizon. This is a very intense backlit scene. And did you spot the issue? Let's zoom in. Check it out. What is going on here? Why are half the tree leaves detailed while the top part looks like it has some kind of blur filter applied? Check out the wall. The moss texture on the wall is detailed, but the glass shards on the wall are blurred out. Take a look at this patch of grass here. It is detailed, but this little part is blurry. I have no explanation. Now check out what happens when I switch to the telephoto lens in the same scene. Boom. Look how good this looks. The entire frame is well detailed without any over sharpening as well. I love the telephoto on the Xiaomi 15 as you will see as the video progresses. But here you can see we don't have that weird image processing bug anymore. The trees are very detailed, the glass shards look like how they should be, just overall clean, detailed footage. Just to show you that this happens only in the very specific scenario that I shot the same scene with the main camera but in late evening when the light was actually much lower. And there were no such issues. The bug that I showed only affects in that specific sunny but heavily backlit type scenarios. So if you have a Xiaomi 15, please try to replicate this scenario. Remember, you have to shoot this in intense high dynamic range scenario where the sun is beaming over the horizon and the objects are heavily backlit. Only in this specific scenario did I spot this bug, and I can repeat this every time. So try it out. Maybe you will not be able to replicate this, or you may not even face this bug, but do let me know in the comments. Next is 4K 60 FPS video quality. Now, personally, I am not a 60 FPS video guy. For general videos, I prefer to shoot 24 FPS or 30 FPS, but I must say that the level of detail captured in 4K 60 FPS in moderately low light scenario is not consistent. Most people may not notice this unless they zoom in, but I can clearly spot it. Sometimes there is just too much compression and noise reduction. But this is not the case with the telephoto lens, which is absolutely perfect. Like compare these 4K 60 FPS clips from the main camera and the telephoto camera. I physically moved back and forth to try and match the field of view, so no unfair advantage to either lenses. But you can see the much smaller telephoto sensor is capturing a lot more details. I much prefer the processing on the telephoto sensor. It has more noise but a lot more detail due to less noise reduction. Same lighting condition, yet the smaller sensor is packing more details in 4K 60 fps. But then I tested the next day, same evening lighting scenario, and the main sensor is now performing better in 4K 60 fps. 4K 30 fps video though is a lot more consistent. It always packs a great level of detail. Well, apart from the special scenario that I mentioned earlier, which triggers that strange image processing bug on the main sensor. So 4K 60 fps video from the main sensor needs to be more consistent, especially in these kinds of, moderate low light scenarios. It is good and it is actually better than the OnePlus 13, but I feel it can be much better, like you saw with the telephoto lens. Like the telephoto lens is performing better in the same scenario. So why not the main sensor? The next problem that I have is with the Pro video mode. Now this section is very important for enthusiasts. Most mainstream YouTube camera reviews focus so much on the point and shoot experience that they completely ignore the Pro video mode, because these smartphones with such big sensors are actually much more capable than just point and shoot. So it is really important to have a really good Pro video mode in my opinion. But unfortunately the Xiaomi 15's Pro video mode lacks a major feature, and that is the ability to disable noise reduction. Take a look what happens when I increase the ISO on my S20 FE 5G in Pro video mode. It increases the brightness and naturally there is an increase in noise, but there is no drop in details. Now when I do the same on the Xiaomi 15, it increases the brightness, yes, but notice we don't get an increase in noise level. Why is that? It's because Xiaomi is applying noise reduction on the footage, and that's why we are losing details and the video becomes soft at high ISOs, which was not the case with the S20 FE 5G. I made this video long back when I showed that switching to Pro video mode on Samsung devices really improves the video quality at night because it captures a lot more detail because the noise reduction gets automatically disabled. I also made a similar video regarding the benefits of the Pro video mode on the iQOO 13. The iQOO 13 even gives you the option to either disable the noise reduction in Pro video mode or by default leave it enabled. iQOO 13 in Pro video mode with noise reduction disabled in my experience shot some of the best quality and detailed video among all smartphones. Nobody talked about it on YouTube. The sheer level of detail captured with the iQOO 13's camera for videos in the Pro video mode is just amazing. The Xiaomi 15 has much more capable sensors than the iQOO 13 and it obviously has the capability to do so much more. Unfortunately, this permanent unavoidable noise reduction is coming in the way. The essence of a Pro video mode is that it gives the entire control of the camera performance to the user. Then why is Xiaomi not allowing the user to disable the noise reduction that is pre-applied in Pro video mode? I mean, it is Pro video mode. I want the entire control. I want to decide how much noise reduction I want when I'm editing the video in post. Like, do I want noise reduction? Do I don't want a noise reduction? That is something that I should decide, not the phone, because this is Pro video mode. I accept that in automatic video mode, the noise reduction can be like enabled, like it is always enabled. But in Pro video mode, we must get that option to disable noise reduction. Now, yes, you can use applications like MC Pro 24fps or MotionCam Pro to capture truly stunning videos from the Xiaomi 15, and I have done that. I will cover that in a separate video later. So Xiaomi, if you're watching this video, please do the needful. Please allow us to disable noise reduction in Pro video mode. And there are other disappointing parts with the Pro video mode. On my iQOO 13, I could choose frame rate options from 24 fps all the way to 240 fps in Pro video mode. No such option with the Xiaomi 15. You are limited to 24, 30 and 60 fps. The iQOO 13 also let you choose bitrate options, like whether you want to save storage or you want the best possible quality with the lowest compression. No such option on the Xiaomi 15. The iQOO 13 also had insane feature where you could switch between the lenses while you are actively filming in Pro video mode. This is something that I've never seen on any other phone, and obviously it's not available on the Xiaomi 15. At least we can disable EIS during Pro video mode so that you can get a wider field of view when shooting on a tripod or gimbal and also get slightly more details. EIS basically crops into the video using gyro data to stabilize the footage, and this results in a tighter field of view and slight drop in detail. It also avoids the EIS blur in low light, which I'll demonstrate later on in the video. So Xiaomi needs to improve the Pro Video mode, no doubt. Or I can say at least the Xiaomi 15 has a Pro Video mode. The OnePlus 13 doesn't even have that. Next is log video. The log video from the Xiaomi 15 stock camera app is disappointing, simple as that. If you want to shoot log video, just use MotionCam Pro or MC Pro 24fps and you will get stunning log videos packed with a lot of details. The Xiaomi 15 log video from the stock camera has the same pre-applied noise reduction, which is unacceptable in my opinion. It is also affected even more with the image processing bug which I mentioned earlier, where random spots are blurred. Using MC Pro 24fps and Motion Camera Pro really shows what the Xiaomi 15 main sensor is truly capable of. So Xiaomi needs to have a lot of improvements with the Xiaomi log, especially with the stock camera. Okay, so if I'm not forgetting anything, I think these were the major cons that I spotted regarding the video performance of Xiaomi 15. So let's move on to the rest of the aspects. Starting with how the Xiaomi 15 performs when it comes to recording vlog type footage.
One thing about the Xiaomi 15 is that the main sensor on the Xiaomi 15 is like a really large sensor, like 1/1.3 inch. Okay, and it has a really wide aperture f1.6 lens. So you get this lovely, nice, separation from the background, like a natural bokeh. And I love this look. It is a very desirable look. It gives you a really, like a real professional mirrorless camera look with a lens which has a wide aperture. It looks really good, soft background. It helps the subject pop out from the background. I really love this look. And so imagine, like, if you have a Xiaomi 15 phone like this and you have a gimbal, you put the phone on a gimbal and you like stretch it out, and you can get this lovely vlog, like professional mirrorless quality vlog like footage. And that is why I really love having phones with a large sensor. The main sensor has to be large and it has a wide aperture, so that's extra good. So if you on top of this, if you enable, like if you disable EIS and you go to the Pro Video mode, so in Pro Video mode you can disable the EIS like I said earlier, and in that way you can get even more like a wider field of view. Okay, and then on top of that you can have a gimbal, and that will like give you really good stabilization, a wide field of view with nice soft background. It can be this, like the Xiaomi 15 has the potential to be a really good vlogging camera, like with this setup, like with the rear camera and a gimbal. So even without a gimbal it's pretty good, but with a gimbal you can disable the EIS and get a wide field of view, and that would look like really epic. So that is a great thing about the Xiaomi 15. I've also found the Xiaomi 15 keeps a really good focus on the face. If there is a face in the scene, like a vlogging style footage like this, it really maintains focus like really well on the face. Like if I move to the right, to the left, like up, down, it still like maintains focus really well on the face. Like I can blindly trust this autofocus when I'm shooting videos like this. So that's a really good point with the Xiaomi 15. Alright guys, so this is Xiaomi 15 with the front facing camera. I'm shooting at 4K 60 fps and EIS has been enabled. So do let me know what you think about the stabilization, the overall image. It's a pretty high dynamic range situation right now, and it is not the it's not too bright right now actually. It's actually almost sunset, so the quality is actually pretty reasonably good. I won't, let's say it's like mind-blowing or anything, but yeah, it's pretty, like it's decent. It's like way better than my iQOO 13 for sure. So there's also this mode called dual video, where you can shoot from the front facing camera and the rear main camera, and you can also like change the the view. So yeah, it records in 1080p 30 fps, and it looks like the rear camera has EIS enabled, but it looks like the front camera is probably doesn't have EIS enabled on the front camera. Like it is still pretty stable actually. Like I'm not exactly sure this is EIS enabled on, but let me just walk. And yeah, it looks like EIS is enabled on both camera, which is good. Do let me know what you think about the quality though. Oh, interesting. I did not see this previously. There is a movie mode which is like a portrait video mode, something like that. Yeah, do let me know what you think about it. I'm not a big fan of these kinds of video portrait modes. They look really fake in almost every phone. I showed you example earlier, right, where I just use the main sensor to take like natural depth of field, like natural blur. I think that looks way better than this. But do let me know what you think about it.
Finally, when it comes to action mode type stabilization, there is Shoot Steady and Shoot Steady Pro mode. Both are capped to 1080p 30 fps, but Shoot Steady uses the main sensor, while Shoot Steady Pro uses the ultra-wide sensor. When it comes to slow motion, the Xiaomi 15 allows multiple frame rate options with the ultra-wide and telephoto. It lets you shoot at 1080p, 120, 240 and short bursts of 960 fps, and with the main sensor, you can get the same options at 1080p, but at 720p you get additional options for 480 fps and 1920 fps. I mainly shot a couple of 1080p 120 samples for the best quality. It's pretty good actually. Though I would have loved to see some higher resolution options like 1440p 120 fps. But anyways. Alright, now let's take a look at the general video performance from all three lenses in both day and night. Starting with the ultra-wide lens, which is okay during the day. I feel the ultra-wide is better at taking videos than it was at taking photos. Maybe it's a lens thing where the lens has an easier time resolving 4K resolution worth of details, which is like a little over 8 megapixel, versus photos, which is like 12 megapixels after binning. Overall, quality is not bad, just average for a flagship in this price range. The telephoto on the other hand during the day is just excellent. Whether it's 4K 30 fps or 4K 60 fps, it's got great detail capture, tasteful colors and good contrast. I might go as far as to say that I like the telephoto lens over the main lens when it comes to daytime video. It is that good. You can also take advantage of the very close minimum focusing distance of the tele lens to shoot close-up videos, which can be very handy for making certain tutorial videos which may require shooting something small up close. The main sensor, I have talked about it enough already. It is a pretty large 1/1.3 inch sensor with a fast 1.6 aperture lens, which makes it great for shooting vlog-like footage. But I mentioned earlier that I feel the main sensor can be even better than it currently is. 4K 30 fps footage is fine, no complaints, but 4K 60 fps footage can sometimes look too compressed and mushy looking. Also, do note the reason I shoot videos in these kinds of foresty areas, which has a lot of foliage, is because, smartphone sensors actually have a hard time capturing this and processing this, because you really need a high level of bitrate and good quality compression to capture all the footage without any kind of artifacts. So you are more likely to see, image processing artifacts and bugs in these kinds of scenarios. So these are actually quite challenging scenarios, even though it does not look like that. It is much easier to capture footage. Like, it's much easier for the smartphone sensor to capture footage in, like, in a city area where there's a lot of buildings and stuff. Capturing these kinds of scenarios with a lot of foliage is actually not that easy. The Xiaomi 15 can also shoot 8K 30 fps video from the main sensor, and here is a quick comparison in terms of detail capture. And yes, the 8K video is significantly more detailed, like around 50% more detailed than 4K 30 fps. Okay, finally, moving on to low light. The ultra-wide camera is pretty poor. There is an extreme level of noise reduction and there is a severe lack of detail. Interestingly though, I find that the ultra-wide sensor in pro video mode is a bit better than using auto mode. Moving on to the telephoto lens, and in these kinds of low light scenarios, the Xiaomi 15 does not even actually use the telephoto lens. Instead, it crops into the main sensor, and this is pretty common with other phones as well. Now, to use the telephoto in these scenarios, you have the option to disable adaptive telephoto. Now, in certain scenarios where there is some light available, I actually prefer the video from the telephoto lens. But if the scene is extremely dark, then you basically cannot even see anything from the telephoto lens. So it's up to you. Finally, the main sensor. The main sensor in low light is actually pretty good in my experience. You'll spot a bit of motion blur every couple of steps which you take, which is caused by the EIS. Remember I mentioned this earlier during the Pro Video Mode segment. Still, the EIS works really well in low light and the motion blur is kept to a minimum. If you want to get rid of this motion blur, then the only way is to disable video stabilization and switch to Pro Video Mode. As you can see, now you don't have any motion blur in Pro Video Mode. Instead, the whole frame shakes every couple of steps. So I recommend using a gimbal if you want to disable EIS and record walking footage in low light. One anomaly that I did notice a couple of times in my testing is the stabilization on the main camera can sometimes act a bit jittery, like it's getting stuck somewhere or something. Only happened a couple of times, like I have shot like hundreds of footage, but it happened a couple of times. Otherwise, I can safely say the main sensor video on the Xiaomi 15 in low light is better than the OnePlus 13 for sure, and it is overall really good, I would say. Alright guys, that was my full review of the Xiaomi 15's camera performance. We covered photos and videos in depth in separate videos. For photo performance, I have barely any complaints with the Xiaomi 15. I love the photographic aspect of the Xiaomi 15. For videos, it's a little bit more nuanced. Not everything is perfect. You know, like I mentioned, main camera, it needs to be better. It can be a lot better because the telephoto lens is just amazing for video on the Xiaomi 15. So you would expect the bigger, much more capable main sensor to be even better. So yeah, let's wait and watch. I mean, you know, we do give big companies like Samsung the benefit of the doubt and we wait for software updates to fix issues. So let's see how Xiaomi acts up and what kind of software updates does Xiaomi provide to improve the camera performance of Xiaomi 15, in particular in terms of video. It's already good. Okay, the Xiaomi 15's camera performance for video is actually better than the OnePlus 13 in my experience, to be honest. I'm telling you that. Okay, but like I said, the main camera, the main sensor, the 1/1.3 inch sensor can be even better for video because we saw what kind of videos the main sensor is capable of when we are using applications like MC Pro 24 FPS or MotionCam Pro. I'll probably cover these two applications later down the line. So do let me know what you think about the Xiaomi 15's camera performance, and also do let me know what you thought about my videos. Thank you so much for watching this video. Please make sure to hit the subscribe button, turn on notifications, and stay tuned for upcoming videos. I'll be covering a lot more topics on the Xiaomi 15 and other phones as well. So yeah, that's it for this video guys. Thank you so much for watching. Take care and I'll catch you in the next one. Peace.